Abolishing slavery.
They were in conflict. Both were anti-slavery, but they did not see eye to eye in how to eradicate slavery.
Paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union.
Every inch of ground occupied by the colored man in this country is sternly disputed.
Never heard what Abraham Lincoln or Frederick Douglass sound like, but I felt like they were in the room.
I have a right to be here and a duty to perform here.
I'm Deborah Jacobs. I have the honor of being the president and CEO of the Patterson Foundation. I am standing at the Kennedy Center at the Terrace Theater in Washington, D.C., where Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, A Walk to Respect, was performed earlier today at a matinee and is about to be performed this evening.
The story that our children and our children's children will tell about our nation in this period and where we fit in the world are being formed as we speak, just as they were during the Civil War, when Frederick Douglass spoke the words,
"If there is no struggle, there is no progress."
A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave, half free.
Beth Duda was a master craftsman of this theatrical experience.
This journey began because I was curious if Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass knew each other. So I started doing some research, and I found just 2 little sentences that said Mary Todd Lincoln had gifted Abraham Lincoln's favorite walking stick to Frederick Douglass. And the journey began.
in principle, both men were opposed to slavery. One was free, and one a slave.
We must settle this question now. Whether in a free government, the minority have the right to break up the government whenever they choose. If we fail, it will go far to prove the incapability of the people to govern themselves.
And this is a message that needs to get out right now. This has a very current message that needs to happen.
This Kansas-Nebraska Act is an open invitation to a fierce and bitter strife.
You've put so much value and worth into the original words. And to see a play that sort of combined all this, plus with the poetry in between, kind of juxtaposing it, it was it just felt very appropriate and right and very well done.
Sir, I am Frederick.
I know who you are, Mr. Douglass. Sit down. I'm glad to see you.
The message of how humans should respect each other and learn from each other and relate on a very personal basis to each other before they make judgments, we can make small improvements in the world.
It's needed everywhere, and to do it through artistic expression, I think just makes it even that more captivating.
It was heartwarming, it was inspiring, you could feel the emotion of the audience.
Frederick Douglass being this amazing orator, but to watch the actor who was portraying him walk around with his shoulders back and all, it's like it really just creates a presence. And that's another sort of interesting aspect to processing those words.
If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. And people refuse to listen.
I feel like I walked into that theater tonight one person and I came out a different person because that was so experiential.
To breathe color and character in life and become Abraham Lincoln for a moment on stage and say these powerful words and to think what they meant back then and what was going on back then. And then to bring it full circle to what's going on now.
You just sink into this immense fabric of American history that becomes contemporary and also life-changing.
What can I do more to be a part of positivity, the answer, working together, openness, communicating with people from all walks of life?
It's an enormous accomplishment. I couldn't be more proud of all of the people that all of the hard work that went into creating this production, and just how beautifully it came across and how well received it was, and honestly how intelligent the audience was that came and all of the questions that they asked.
And the actors, their responses truly were so authentic and from the heart. You really felt this connection.
I live in a blended family, and my wife and I have conversations similar to this, and it's almost like Abe Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, because she's very fiery, and I'm very pensive and stoic, and so well, I live this way.
This has been extremely special, not only to hear you all talk, but putting this whole thing in perspective. This is a present moment that we're creating right now.
I noticed with the flags that they have a K in the top right corner. What does that mean?
He is absolutely right. On the American flags, on the pull-ups, there's a K up here, and it's one of the flags that is part of American history. This flag is nicknamed the Bloody Kansas flag, and it was during the battle in Kansas over whether or not Kansas would allow slavery.
So coming to this is so much more than a play.
We were able to broaden our reach and take this theatrical presentation to 2 area high schools.
The schools were great, very different. On the one hand, we had the full show that we did for the students.
I could read, write, and cipher the rule of 3, but that was all. I have not been to school since.
I taught history for most of my life, and history is more than just in the classroom. We live in it. These actors brought history to life.
I love that they really put history through modern art and really brought it to life, especially for us. We wouldn't have gotten to experience it otherwise.
The war must go on until one of the party to it is ground to powder.
You felt like you were in the moment, so you could actually hear the words and hear how they were acting back then and how the dialogue was between them two. So I really think it brought it to life.
First, you meet a great struggle that creates a great divide. Then comes this great fear that we can't close this. The gap is too wide.
I think this play taught us that there's qualities in everyone, and we can find a way to work together and solve the problems that we face as a whole.
And then the other school, which was specifically advanced theater kids and theater class and doing theater workshops, that was completely different. That was a lot of fun. So I just enjoyed the whole day.
A what? A pen. A what? A pen. Oh, a pen. This is a pen. A what? A pen. A what? A pen.
I think the most amazing thing has been just the energy of everybody.
I heard the word transformational more than once from the actors and the audience.
Every proper sentiment of respect and esteem. I am your obedient servant, Frederick Douglass.
At the end, as the standing ovation happened, you knew that you were part of something unique and special. It was an investment made in the today and the possibilities of where might Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, a walk to respect, go to next.